Yo, what's up? It's pregame. You know what time it is. I am QC. This is GB. Welcome to GBQC. We're here to talk about this Browns Broncos game, and let's just kind of get into what the big news is going to be about this game, which is no Baker Mayfield. Now, as of recording this on Wednesday, all we know is Baker's not playing on Thursday. We don't know if that extends into the rest of the season, 6 to 8 weeks into the season, or if it's just going to be one game. We don't know that. So if something comes out, I understand y'all going to tell me in the comment section anyways, but
You're gonna beat my
understand
ears up.
we cannot read the future. So as of right now, is all we know about
Right.
Baker Mayfield is that he is not playing on Thursday. So let's just talk about it in the context of that. G, do you feel like this inhibits the Browns' ability to beat the Denver Broncos?
Um. No. I think this is a good part about what the Cleveland Browns have done. The Cleveland Browns have done a good job of accumulating talent and young talent at a lot of different positions. So when you look at guys like Demetric Felton or Dearness Johnson or just DPG or Hollywood Higgins or even having guys like Odell on the outside, one of the great things is you still have what it takes to beat a team that is mediocre. Right now I think after the 3-0 start the Broncos got, I think they've shown against better teams they've had some deficiencies. So I look at the Cleveland Browns as a situation where, yes, most likely this would be a very hard thing to get over if you're, say, for instance, the Bengals. Joe Burrow go out, chalk it up, turn the lights out, and just figure out. And we'll see you next year. Lamar Jackson go out, Josh Allen go out. You already know what it is. It's a season-ending move, and the whole organization is going to have to push everything back a year. For the Browns, it's going to be more difficult, and we'll probably talk about that as we go on, because I think people underestimate how well Baker plays and how more he has more room for error and more talent than Case Keenum, especially when it comes to making different throws and different kinds of throws. But the Browns do have a talent level in terms of, even if their two tackles are out, they still have probably the best guard and center combos in the league still. Still got three really good tight ends, and they still got some weapons on the outside and some young backs that they can run. So I don't think it inhibits them this week against the Broncos. Moving forward, that's kind of a little shaky because other teams and good teams are going to shut down some of the stuff and utilize some of the things Case Keenum doesn't do so well.
Yeah, it's kind of my thought going into this is like, look, Thursday night football at home, so short week at home. It's an advantage in football. Most home teams win that. And also the Broncos, look, they've lost 3 games in a row. And the Browns, while look, I understand the last 2 games ain't really giving us confidence. You have to keep in mind that the Browns are 3-3. They have their 3 losses against 3 teams that are really good: the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. And also, they have 2 wins over 2 3-3 teams in the Bears and the Vikings. 2 dominant wins over 2 3-3 teams, by the way. Well, at least on the defensive side of the ball. So when you look at it like that, you have to look at everything else on the roster. Look, nobody, and this is the interesting thing, right? When Baker's out, just because he's quarterback, everybody's going to jump to this. And while I think Baker Mayfield's a franchise quarterback, while I think he's very good, and while I think if this team does not have him for a long time, that's going to hurt, right? But if we're just talking about this game, the fact is that you have pieces here on the offensive side of the ball that you can rely on that aren't Baker Mayfield. Now, pieces in this game, we'll see if you get Jarvis. I doubt it, right? I don't even know if you're going to have Odell. So you might have a complete second team offense on there. So that might be the deal there, right? The offense might not be any good this week. Like maybe Demetric Felton springs you one. Maybe you get a play here or there. But defensively, you got Myles Garrett. And you got Myles Garrett, you got a chance to win a game, right? So Myles Garrett, maybe he wins you this game, right? The Browns have enough stars on the team that somebody can step up any given week and just patch this thing together. You know what I mean? Just get to wherever they need to get to whenever Baker can come back. hopefully at a decent enough record that you can make something happen. But that's what it's going to take, right? We came into this season hoping that this team was going to get a home playoff game, and injuries have kind of derailed this thing massively. And now, it's about surviving and just trying to get to the dance. And, if it's Case Keenum for the rest of the year, I don't know if you can get to the dance. But if it's Case Keenum just for a little while or Case Keenum just for a week, well, that's what Case Keenum's on the team for, right? So maybe you can survive like that. It's not going to look spectacular. It's not going to be exciting football, but it's survivable football. And honestly, that means everything right now. I know for the first 6 weeks, because of who this team had on the roster and who was healthy, we were kind of like, hey, wins aren't wins anymore. Like, we need to see more than just a win. Not a case Keenum is starting. Win is a win until you can get your quarterback back, right? A win is a win. I don't care how you get it. I don't care how ugly it is, how dirty it is. If you had to rely on a bad call or not, it's time to, do the old school WWF and just hit them schoolboys and pull them tights
and
win cheap.
And when my man Quincy is over there talking, I'm over there looking at the referee like,
yeah, we got to do the distraction finishes. We're going to have to do all of the goofy nonsense to get out of this stretch where we want to, right? Because it's going to take some craftiness. It's going to take some, some sneakiness. It's going to take a lot of luck.
Slapjacks, chairs, kendo sticks, all go. He
all
kind of out of his trunks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it all to be able to get out of this stretch. It's possible because you have the talent on this roster, like especially if you can beat this Denver team, right? You get here 4-3, right? 4-3, you get 10 days. I'm pretty sure Jarvis is gonna be back. Seems like Nick Chubb's gonna be back.
Yeah,
Kareem ain't gonna be back, but hey, you got Nick Chubb. So you got your full complement of receivers that can carry him. Hey, Jarvis and Odell, they could throw a couple passes.
Look,
they got better arm strength than Case Keenum. Like, that's not even debatable.
Yeah,
they both can throw the ball further. So if you need a deep shot, double reverse that thing, gotta have Odell flick it. Now, I don't know who Odell gonna throw it to with Anthony Schwartz, but hey, gotta make something happen. You got enough there, right? Hopefully Joe Woods figures out the back end of this defense. If that means benching Ronnie Harrison, it might mean benching Ronnie Harrison or having Ronnie Harrison play closer to the football. I don't know what they're going to do there.
Moving the linebacker.
They're going to have to move something. They're going to have to. They might have to move.
Change that man's number.
That's another thing we're going to talk about. Actually, we're going to roll right into that, G. Because on the defensive side of the ball, the Browns have their own injuries. And I pointed this out in my preview that the good news this week is that Teddy Bridgewater, he's never been deep ball guy. He's never been good at it, and he's been somebody who's been heavily criticized for just not seeing it, right? Somebody will break open, he won't see it, he'll throw the check down. That's what frustrates people about Teddy Bridgewater his entire career. It's why people kind of didn't mind going from him to Case Keenum, because they didn't really see that much of a difference between the mentality of those two. So luckily, hey, if you had some busted coverages, maybe Teddy Bridgewater doesn't see it. But where Teddy Bridgewater does attack is that short range part of the field, 0 to 10 yards. And the intermediate part of the field. And the question for this week, right, for this Browns team is JOK and Malcolm Smith are undoubtedly your best two intermediary defenders when it comes to screens and short passes. They're both not playing. They're both on injured reserve. So when that's the case, how are you going to make up for that, right? Because I know that the solution can't be we're just going to throw Mac Wilson and Taki and Anthony Walker out there. All three of those guys terrible in coverage.
Oh my God.
So maybe if you're Joe Woods, you think, hey, put John Johnson in the box as a linebacker. Put Ronnie Harrison in the box as a linebacker. Get Grant Delpit out there at free, and then we're going to run Richie LeCounte out there at strong. Maybe you do something. Or you run Troy Hill at strong, because Troy Hill, at this point, is a strong safety. He can't really cover as well. He can come down in the box and tackle, but I think we're going to see a lot of creative use of these DBs that are better at linebacker.
I see what you did right there. You promotion demoted him. Troy Hill, you know what? You're gonna start, but you're gonna start at a position that is a demotion. That's a demotion.
We're gonna get you away from man coverage, Troy. That's all we're gonna have to do with you, Troy. We're gonna have to get you away, because everything else he's fine at. The run defense, he's really good at.
Nice run support. I like
But
it.
when they isolate that man in motion and get him on man, I'm like, he's beat. He's beat. And there's not going to be a safety there where they're supposed to help him out because we can't communicate that. So let's fix both worlds, right? Put put the safeties that want to play linebacker at linebacker this week and put the safeties that play safety as safety. And hopefully you can get something done there. But yeah, I think they're gonna have to get creative with how they defend these intermediate routes because I don't think the solution is, hey, we're just gonna see what Sony Taki and Mac Wilson can do in pass coverage because we know they have Mac Wilson is special, right? Sony Taki, he's more consistent.
Yes,
He's
he
not
is.
consistently good, but he's
But
consistently good in the run game. You know what you can
and
expect out of him.
he's
You know
solid.
how you can hide him. Mac Wilson is wildly inconsistent. So that's part of the reason why you gotta figure out a plan there, what you're gonna do with them. But G, if you were Joe Woods, if you were the defensive coordinator, what do you think you're going to do to solve that problem of your two best pass covering linebackers being out in a week where you're going to need to have a lot of intermediate coverage?
I think you touched on a bevy and a large amount of problems that the Browns defense has. First of all, and first and foremost, I think right now John Johnson is playing probably the worst graded football of his career. Right, he's grading in the bottom 10 of safeties, eligible safeties, according to Pro Football Focus.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons is because they have him for some reason just being a high safety and not in the box. All of the guys that Joe Woods is trying to use and utilize in the back end, those guys are used to a mix of, yes, I can play in open space, yes, I can play deep, but those guys thrive in playing in the box. Ronnie Harrison does the same thing. John Johnson, Grant Delpit do the same things. And now we even see that Troy Hill is a guy who is an individual who can really come up and hit. I've been impressed with what Greedy's done on the run support and being physical. My thought process is this. It's simple. You got to get speed on the field. If JOK and Smith are going to not be on the game, I think as watching Anthony Walker, he's not. I can't play him on passing downs. I can't, because when you play him on passing down, it makes you have to run zone. You have to run. You can't put him in man coverage. And when he's in zone coverage, he doesn't get the drops. He's not aware enough. He doesn't have very good ball skills. And that's in the middle of the field, and they're getting destroyed there. So my thing is I would have already moved Ronnie Harrison to linebacker. He would have already been my outside linebacker, a weak linebacker, because now you get better, right? You automatically get better in coverage. You automatically get better, and he's not like he's some small guy. He has some size, some range to him. Also, you got to mix up the fact that John Johnson should be playing along the line of scrimmage a lot more. And those guys, we preach that they should be interchangeable. We haven't seen the interchangeable parts. Either they're in zone, dropping back. That's not a lot of their strong suits. I would put Ronnie Harrison down there. I put John Johnson down there. I put Grant Delpit down there, and I'd interchange those guys. And the backer I would keep on the field, I like Taki. We seen him pick some passes off last year and take it to the house. He got an interception against Philadelphia, interception against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. We've seen him be around the ball a little more than the rest of them. I would make those adjustments moving forward.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do out there. Because they're gonna have to do something, right? This is gonna be this coaching staff has been under quite a bit of fire for his team that went 11-5 at the start of the season for good reasons, right? Because people haven't liked what they've come out with. The teams look sloppy, they haven't looked good, all year. And now you're being tested, right? Backup quarterback, backup running back, backup third string tackles, and you got backup linebackers in the game. So, it is going to be a test of this coaching staff. Can they come together and can they put something together this week that's going to make some sense and going to win a football game? What do you think if the Browns can win this game on both sides of the ball? G, I want your keys to victory.
Keys to victory in this game is really simple. It's get a couple plays here or there. One of the things that have been separating the Browns from being an elite defense in terms of offense and defense and the team in general is every time they feel like they put something together, They can never put a total game together. They can never really quite capitalize. In the run game, we've seen countless amounts of holding penalties, false starts, different things like that. And we've seen them from veterans. We've seen them from young guys. And so we've not been able to get those drives going where it's play after play after play after play, wearing guys down. We see ourselves in 1st and 20. So in this game, we can't have those negative plays. And I know there's a lot of terrible calls that we've been getting lately in terms of what the officiators are giving us, but we can't have those penalties slowing us down. On the defensive side of the football, we just have to get to a point where they let them get to a point where they can play fast. I don't know whether or not these schemes, these hybrid defenses of these elaborate zone coverages and passing people off, I don't know if our defense is suited for that. I don't know if the personnel is suited for that. If you need to play man-to-man coverage, it's kind of simple. Guard your man, get upfield, and do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to run something, run a cover 2. Something that's very simple, and then and mix and match some of your blitzes in there. But I think they need to really dumb it down, simplify all of the defensive stuff. And furthermore, when you're not playing guys who are elite, you need to have pressure at all times. It could be 4, it could be 3 stunts, whatever the case may be. But guys like Teddy Bridgewater, when you're coming up against the Lions, you're playing these guys, you got to make them uncomfortable. So I think that's the key. And you need to actually get your field position game together too. I think we've did a terrible job of punting so far. We haven't been downing people. We haven't been playing a long field position game, and it just looks sloppy.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to be happy about them not going for 4th downs anymore when they don't have Baker Mayfield in there. I think the 4th and 5 go for it is dead for the rest of the year if Baker is not in there. But you know, so some of those things might be, but yeah, you're right. They're gonna have to play a smarter brand of football. They're gonna have to play a more controlled brand of football. And they're gonna have to play field position, which is gonna be very frustrating to watch. Again, guys, this Case Keenum football is not gonna be fun to watch, but it can get you a win. And I think the Browns should win this week. It's a home Thursday night game. And you know, I still think you're a better team than Denver without Baker, without, you know, some of your wide receivers, without your running backs. This Browns team has better players on the defensive side of the ball. I think they have better players on the offensive side of the ball. And at the end of the day, you got Myles Garrett. You try to play field position. When you got Myles Garrett, hey, maybe he gets to double-digit sacks before the halfway point of the season. It's very possible. The man has 8 sacks right now. So, you know, you're going to have to rely on somebody else to step up this week other than the quarterback, because we're not expecting the quarterback to step up. Or maybe Case Keenum steps up, has a good game. We don't know. But that's going to be it for part 1. You guys know the drill. Part 2 is going to be on GB's channel. So check it out there. Links are in the description below. Make sure you subscribe to both of us, so when both parts come out, you can have them both at your leisure. But now we're going to jump to Gbqc's channel.